Life and business is like the changing season. You cannot change the season, but here's what you can do. You can change yourself. Learn how to handle the winter. Stay steady in the winter. 3 things that'll help you to stay steady in the winter. Become wiser, stronger, and better. You're going to leave here wiser because you've been here to these few days. Next, in the winter, become stronger. All of us can gather muscle, not just the muscle of our physical body, but the muscle of your mind that helps you through the tough times. So become wiser, become stronger, and here's the 3rd one. In the winter, become better. All of us can get better. Our skills can get better. So hang in there during the winter time, so that when you're out there and the tough winter comes, you'll not only be able to survive, you'll be able to flourish. Learn to take advantage of the spring. Spring has always followed winter. Yes, difficulty comes, but opportunity follows difficulty. But here's what you must learn to do. Underline the 2 words, take advantage. Don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers. Spring doesn't last all year. There's just a handful of spring. Don't let the opportunity slip through your fingers. The opportunity to speak to someone. So every time the sun comes up, take advantage of that day. Every time you have a chance to tell your story, do it and tell your story well. Put your heart and soul into it, because life is brief at the longest. The 3rd season is the season of summer. 2 things are important in the season of summer. Number 1, and that is to give life to your values. The summertime is a time to give nourishment to something you've started. Give it your life, give it your heart, give it your soul. Put everything you've got into everything you do. Now here's what else you must do in the summer. You must guard against the enemies like a father. Stand guard at the door of your mind. You cannot drift to the top of the mountain. If you want to see the view from the top, you've got to steadily climb. And here's the last season, the season of harvest. Harvest does not come to those who did not plant all those months ago, called the spring. Harvest only comes to those that have planted, that did the job. You must see the harvest in your mind. You must anticipate the harvest, because others have already received a harvest. It gives you hope. If you'll take a risk and go see the people, if you'll take a risk and conduct a meeting, I promise you, as time unfolds, your harvest will come.
Good evening, Nutrition Club! Please welcome your MC for the evening, Executive President's Team at 20K, Lee Duffy!
Brand new clothes and a big fat face on your rock and roll TV. Today the way to play the game is not the same, no way. I think I'm gonna get myself happy. I think I'm gonna get myself happy, yeah. Freedom, my freedom, my freedom. Gotta give her what you take, yeah. Freedom, hold on to my freedom, hold on to my freedom. Oh, you gotta give her what you take, yeah.
All right, brother. Nice one, man. Thank you. All right, thank you.
Hold on to my.
You're all right, man. You're all right, man. Cheers, kiddo. Thank you very much. You're all right, man. You're all right. You're okay, then. You're all right, lovely. You're all right. Give me that song. Oh, nice to meet you. You're okay, brother. You're all right. You okay? You're all right. You're all right. You okay? You're all right, Rita. You're all right, brother. Good to see you, man. You okay? Nice to meet you. You're all right. You're all right, kiddo. You're all right. Welcome back. You okay? You're all right, brother. You're all right, lovely. You're okay? You're all right, brother. You're okay? And hold on, you're all right. Good to see you, man. You're okay, gorgeous. Mwah. You're all right, lovely. Okay. And last but not least, please. Thank you.
My freedom, you gotta give her what you take, yeah. I'm singing about
Nutrition Club Masterclass Leadership. Away! Come on! Okay, I need my glasses. 50 years of age, so I need to wear my glasses now. Right, so welcome to our Nutrition Club Masterclass Leadership Workshop. Congratulations for everyone who's qualified. We're going to see who's qualified in a minute. But I just wanted to share some numbers with you all. We're going to keep you for about 2 or 3 hours. Because of some recent bits of information that we've got, we're going to add a little bit onto the sections that we originally had. So the drinks that we're going to have afterwards might be just a little bit later. Are we all right with that? Okay, I know we like a bit of a party and we like a drink, but we just want to give you a little bit more detail so you can get more value out of this evening. And just wanted to share just the enormity of what's happening within this group, within the region and within the world. This weekend, we've got 26 different countries here in Coventry. Add to that the people who are virtually watching. We've actually got a total of 52 countries that are watching this weekend. So all the speakers who were speaking at the weekend, no pressure. The eyes of the world are on us. Now, I've just noticed there's quite a few people over the side there. Can we just raise a hand if you've got any spare seats on your tables, please, so the guys over there can have a sit down? Or are you just happy to stand up? I'm sure you're not. Okay, show of hands and then obviously make some new friends around the room. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to welcome some of our newer people into the room. So, if this is your first ever leadership event, Masterclass, can you please stand up, get some recognition? Come on, let's see you all! Wow! Oh my God! Look at that! That's unbelievable. Congratulations. Next up, can we have all the junior partners in the room? Let's have all the junior partners. Stand up. Let's give them a cheer. These are our next club owners. Our next leadership coming through. Well done, everyone. Been working really hard in your clubs. I know there's quite a few newly promoted junior partners in the room as well, all brand new for the first event. Now, it's the big people. Yeah? The club owners. Let's have the club owners. Come on. The ones who are leading the way. Let's hear something from them.
I'll serve your ass like John McEnroe. If your girl steps up, I'm smacking the hoe. Word to your moms, I came to drop bombs. I got more rhymes than the Bible's got songs. And just like the prodigal son, I've returned. Anyone stepping on me, you'll get burned. Cause I got lyrics, but you ain't
Amazing.
got none. If you come to battle with a shotgun. But if you do, you're a fool. Cause I'll do to the death.
So, while we're talking of everyone who's in the room, what I just want everyone to do, just for a few minutes, I actually want to recognise and congratulate on behalf of the leadership, on behalf of corporate, to actually recognise and congratulate you. And I also want you just to take a moment just to reflect how far you've come. There's people who are in this room who've come from different backgrounds. They've had, part-time jobs. They've walked away from jobs and they've started to build the communities. And I think, Herbalife's an amazing personal development journey, and, we face challenges, we overcome them, we move on. And I know personally from our group and people around us, the people who come into this business now are very different from the ones who come in, not just from a product result, but just mindset and all the things that go around that. So I just want everyone just to take a moment and just congratulate yourselves as well for what you've done, because you guys are the pioneers. You are pioneers. Yeah, you are. That deserves a round of applause. All the countries that we just mentioned are taking interest because of the impact that you guys are already having on your communities. It's proven results, and that's why people are taking interest. And some of you are brand new in your journey now. And over the next couple of years, if you just keep doing what you're doing, bringing in your 5 new customers a week, moving them through the pathway, at some point in your future, you will hear someone on the stage thank you for saying yes. They might even quote something that you've said in their club or on a stage as well. So all you guys who are brand new in the room, well done. You've took a big step in your lives that's going to impact thousands of people, whether they're in your organization or in other countries around the world. So congratulations, well done. You've done something massive. I can't stress that enough. But here's the exciting bit. We're just getting started! We're only just getting started! Right, so, but now the work begins, because this is our vision for 2030, to give corporate the challenge of finding an arena that's going to hold 10,000 people for us to be delivering in the UK an event like this, okay? But we've all got to do our part. Imagine what that party is going to be like, yeah? So we've all got to do our part by building our communities, going to work, and what you're going to learn over this weekend, hopefully, are all the skills, all the bits that you need to do, and especially this evening, some of the detail we're going to share with you tonight to help you start making the steps toward building that. So the agenda for this evening, okay, we're going to talk about your supervisor machine, so how we can build budget clubs that create royalties in your organization. And we're also going to learn how to talk about developing independent leaders through the junior mentorship program. And we're going to have a couple of panelists up as well. So we're going to get a little bit more detail, and we're going to hear from some of the leaders who are on the move, and they're going to share some of their experience as well. And then what we're also going to do is bring up someone to cover how to track, okay, tracking your organization, treating this business like a professional. Okay, you've probably heard amateur versus professional, but if we need to get that stadium of 10,000 people, there's work to do, and we need to build multiple clubs, and you want to build them in your organization. We're going to show you how to do that later on. So what I also want to, especially for a lot of the new guys in the room, what we've got is these little forms that were in your registration pack. So within that, we've got a lot of Nutrition Club language that we use. And we just want you to make sure that you understand all that, and also as well to use it within your organizations as well. You're also going to hear a lot of people from Liverpool. I'm from Liverpool, and we have a bit of an unusual dialect and accent. We haven't got one to help you through that, but we've told everyone we need to speak as clear as possible on stage, so we'll all do our part as well. And then we've also got our Nutrition Club career ladder with a little bit of detail on that. And then there's also as well some sheets which have got scripts in as well. So you'll notice this with the yellow boxes. Over the weekend, we're going to see a lot of yellow boxes on stage. This has got all of our scripts on there as well. So make sure you've got that. And then what we also have, especially for this evening, and I hope everyone's brought them, which is this sheet here, the slightly bigger one, which is our golden nugget sheet. So we've got sections in that where you can make notes, some actions, things that you get from the different sections as well. Okay, so this is our numbers. Myself and Anne-Marie, I work the business with Anne-Marie. These are our numbers, and what you're going to hear over the weekend and see is each speaker who gets up onto the stage, they've all been chosen because of their metrics. So just very quickly, on the left-hand side, personal volume for the last 3 months. Then in the middle, total profit. Now, the total profit, for legal reasons, corporate, we are not allowed to share more than, so if you see 8,000 plus, the people on stage are earning more than that. And if you're curious and you want to know, maybe you could hand someone a drink later on and ask them what they're earning, and then they may tell you what they're earning. And then the supervisors on all 3 levels, new supervisors each month, and that is proof that the machine is working, that we're moving people through the pathway and generating royalties, because that's what's going to get us through the marketing plan. Is everyone with me so far? You all okay? All right there? Yeah? Okay. And success leaves clues. You'll notice the bottom left-hand corner. Hang on. Yep, bottom left-hand corner. 5 new customers a week. Okay, we'll talk more about that over the weekend. So very, very briefly, my story, my background was a sales manager. I'm also a failed actor. I don't know how that picture got in there. Becky Ma, where are you? Okay, I know you love hearing this story. So before we were introduced to Herbalife, that was my background. Done loads of different jobs over the years, but I was always looking to do something else. I was always looking for the opportunity to get out of working for someone else. And then my wife, Anne-Marie, who sat down, you're going to hear from her later on, received a guinea pig message off Claire Fox to ask her to practice a wellness evaluation. We had an argument. I lost. A week later, we were both on a plan together, seeing the opportunity, and then started to build our business part-time. Got to global expansion team in 11 months, which gave us the opportunity to go full-time. Then we got stuck for about 6 years, different DMOs, wanted the growth in our organization, but didn't quite get it. Never missed an event. The only positive thing in our lives for a long time was Herbalife and the events. But we found ourselves in 2019 in a situation where, due to circumstances outside of the business, I had to go and find work. I did a courier job, which ended up taking, I think it was 2.5 years rather than a couple of months. And we found ourselves in a desperate situation. We knew we were never going to quit, but thank the Lord that Claire Fox, and we're going to hear Claire's story, discovered budget breakfast clubs. And we took a look, we seen the pathway, we loved the community, we understood the pathway and why the parts of it were there, because we'd been in the mix over the years and done different things. So we said to Claire, okay, what do we need to do? And she said, once you've got your club, you find 5 new customers a week, move them through the pathway, but you need to forget all the stuff that you'd learned in the past. We had to learn again, leave the old baggage behind, and just follow everything. And we did, and we've gone to work. And this is where we are now with regards to the growth we've had in the last 4 years. And we are so grateful for where we are because of where we've been and the effort that we're putting in and the amazing team that we've got as well. And yeah, our lives are very, very different now compared to what it is. And for us, it's the work that we put in. There's a result to it at the end as well. This is our organisation as it looks in clubs. We've got Grace and Gav, who are our diamonds. They've got a great organisation. But we are continuing to build the width in this organisation, in our organisation, because our goal is to build a minimum of 10 frontline tab team budget breakfast clubs that duplicate. Having the clubs is great, but we want to ensure that those guys are able to duplicate themselves and they can realise what we've achieved as well. Okay, so that's enough of me. And then we're going to, oh, thank you. I think that was Anne-Marie, that was clapping, to be honest. Or maybe just happy I've finished. So anyway, next up, we're going to get to start with the details now. So next up, we have got, and she's given me the instructions of what I need to say. And this is not my wife, okay? She's up next, okay? So the next lady we are going to bring up is, she works the business with her husband. Budget breakfast clubs, count them, 81 budget breakfast clubs in her organisation. I think that deserves a clap, definitely. 5 years ago, she had 45 supervisors in her organisation. And at the last count, 1,129 supervisors in her organisation. 2 times Mark Hughes bonus award winner. That deserves a clap as well, definitely. So, ladies and gentlemen, can we welcome up onto the stage Senior Executive President's Team and 20 Clay, Claire Fox Halpern!
What I do, you don't get them girls loose. You don't get the world loose. You don't get money, but I do. Time out there. Que no pare la fiesta, don't stop the party. Que no pare la fiesta, don't stop the party. I'm running through the world like a running back. Scarface world's mine running back. 30,000 people in here. disfruta. They can't, they won't, they never will stop the party. They can't, they won't, they never will stop the party. I say y'all having a good time out there.
Yeah, like Slinky. And now I'm doing shows in Helsinki. I know what you're thinking that you can outthink me, but you can't, frankly. I'm out for the Benjis, Frankies, you know. Just cause you ain't me, don't hate me. As a matter of fact, you should thank me. Even if you don't, you're welcome, Yankees. Zigga, 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 zow. Who got the keys to the world now? Yours truly. Blah, 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 blah. They can't, they won't, they never will stop the party.
Okay, ready? Okay, so if anyone's wondering, what does that mean? That means it's our new breakfast budget club. Dance along the pathway. Did you know that? Did you know that, Vi? Okay, so good evening, clubbers! Woo!
You got a $100 bill, get your hands up. You got a $50 bill, get your
At
hands
the
up.
back!
You got a $20 bill, get your hands up. You got a $10 bill, get your hands up. Single ladies, I can't hear y'all.
At the back, are you on your feet?
Single ladies, I can't hear y'all.
Okay. Okay, so are we ready for this? Me too. I'm very ready, very excited. Okay, so please give a massive round of applause to Lee Duffy. Okay, so tonight in my section, we have got loads to cover. So I hope you're ready. As Lee said, you know, over the last maybe couple of days, we've had loads of feedback from the marketplace. And we've been asked to cover certain things. So tonight, we are going to go for about an extra 15 minutes. Are we okay with that? All good? Yes? Okay, so tonight it is my pleasure because I really get to talk to you guys as the leadership for Breakfast Budget Clubs, whether you're working UK, whether you are working in other markets, whether it's in the EMEA region or you are working globally. And we're going to work together. We're going to grow together, and we're going to go through everything being transparent. So what I want you to know is every single leader that you see come on this stage over the weekend, we are sharing everything. We're very honest, we're very transparent, and do you know why that is? Because we want you to win. We want you to win. And it means that, you know, these masterclasses that we put on, you're not going to learn everything in 1, in 2, in 3. You are talking, this is a long-term plan. Because we are going to build this together, making sure that every single one of you goes back to your hometown, to your home countries, and you build that royalty check with growth and sustainability. So my question to you is are you in? Okay, one more time. Are you in? Woo! Okay, so this is what I'm going to be covering tonight. Tonight, we are going to split my section roughly into 2 parts. The first part is I'm actually going to be covering how do you build a supervisor machine with breakfast budget clubs that create royalties. All good? The second part is I'm then going to move into how do you develop, independent leaders using the Junior Partner Mentorship Program. And this was a game changer for us. So when we go into this, I want you to just really sit back, listen, take great notes, and I really hope that tonight you hear some things that enables you to go back into your clubs on Monday and really start looking for those leaders and develop them. We're then on the back end going to have, well, I'm going to say fun. I'm not sure if they're going to call it fun. But I've asked two really successful people to join me on stage, and we're going to go through what we call Q&A, questions and answers, all around developing leaders within breakfast budget clubs. We're going to pick their brains. So when they do come on stage, it's going to be very relaxed, but it's very real. Is everyone okay with that? Okay, amazing. Now, before we get into it, you know, me and Dan have been asked to share our numbers, and this is what our business looks like at the moment. And I'm going to break this down over the next, say, 60 minutes. But this is really important. It did not always look like this. And we had a long time in Herbalife where, you know, as Lee mentioned before, we were stuck for a long time. So hopefully tonight's training will really give you an insight of what were the things that we did and put in place to enable to create this. But I'm going to take you back 13 years ago. And we're going to go into our story, me and Dan, in a lot more detail over the weekend. But I just need to be able to share this with you as the leaders, just being a little bit more open and honest. Yeah? So 13 years ago, I was heavily pregnant with our son, Joseph. I was working as a fitness manager. I was running a health club. I had a personal training business. And I was in £30,000 worth of debt. And I'd not long had my home repossessed. This was just before meeting Dan. And being a mum for the first time was actually quite a scary time because I really wanted to be a mum. I'd always wanted to be a mum. But I don't know if anyone can relate to being in debt. You get consumed by it, and you live day to day in fear. So I felt like I was carrying that, and I was going into this chapter in my life. And Herbalife found me at a time when I actually didn't realize how much I needed it. I was one of them people who was asked to be a guinea pig. And when my friend Jez asked me, would I be a guinea pig, he'd actually approached me 6 times previous, but he'd approached me from the business perspective, and I just wasn't in the headspace to get started. But when he changed the invite, everything changed, and he said, will you be my guinea pig? Can I practice a free wellness evaluation? And I was his friend. And what do you do for your friends? You always support. So that was my entry in. And, you know, I went to my first event, which was Extravaganza. And I don't know if anyone was there. It was 2013. And 2012 or 2013, there was 20,000 screaming people, all wired on Thermo T. And I was heavily pregnant, sitting at the very back thinking, what is this? Like, they were going nuts. But I loved it. I loved it because there was normal people going across the stage who had transformed their life. And I just thought, you know what? I'm not the brightest. I'm not the best speller. So please excuse any spelling mistakes in the presentation. I know you're going to tell me that there's spell check. I get it. But I'm not the best with spelling. I definitely wasn't the best with numbers. But you know what? I've got great work ethic. Show me what to do and I'll do it. I've always been like that. And I've seen these people on stage and I thought, well, if I just follow what they tell me to do, maybe I can get out of debt and I can earn an extra £200 a month. That'll change my life. And I got started in Herbalife. And, you know, me and Dan will go into our story a little bit more tomorrow. But our business exploded, momentum kicked in. But it was built on excitement. It was built on sheer passion. It lacked a clear vision. It lacked no clear structure, no clear pathway how we could move people to supervisor. And as the business went up and we went to millionaire team, it very, very quickly started to come back down. And when it did come down, we spent round about maybe, I'd say a good 6 years without our millionaire team check. But at that point, me and Dan had left our jobs and we made loads of mistakes. So if there's anything that me and Dan tell you from the stage, we're never gonna manage you or tell you what to do. We're just sharing because we've been there and we got a lot of stuff very, very wrong. Does everyone understand that? Yeah? But in that time, you know, relationships broke down in our organization. We started comparing ourselves to other people. Our heads went down. We started to wear a mask, but we always went to the events, as Lee Duffy said. And it was only when I went to an event, which was called Future Pres Team Retreat in Seville in 2018. And at the time, me and Dan both couldn't afford to go. So Dan stayed at home with the kids and he said, Claire, you go, I'll watch the kids. And I went and I sat in that room. And at this point, we were so close to quitting. Like, I can't even tell you. And I sat in that room and I heard this lady come on stage and she spoke about building a business that had growth and sustainability, that was purpose-driven. And I just sat in that audience and thought, oh my goodness, this is everything me and Dan would love in our Herbalife business. This is a way that I want to go forward. And that lady was called Radhika. Yeah, give her a clap. And I know she's watching at home, so Radhika, thank you for pioneering and coming on stage that day and sharing, because you opened the floodgates and the philosophy for me and Dan that when we started to move with breakfast budget clubs, we had to give back. We had to share because that's what you did for us, so thank you. But we came away from that event, and I remember coming home, and I was so desperate to speak to Dan. And I said to Dan, okay, this is what I got from the event. Poor Dan, it was like having an excitable shotgun or a machine gun, because I got home and I was like, Dan, Dan, Dan. And I was just all over the kitchen, and I said, we need to build this business with growth and sustainability. And he was like, I'm with you. How are we going to do that? And I said, I have no idea. But Radhika said it's got to have, you know, sustainability, but we want to be focused on growing. And we started to play around. We started to go back to supervisor mentality. And we started to talk about, you know, building a business, creating a business model that unlocked all 5 income streams. And we also started to talk about how we'd spent years in Herbalife really struggling to bring our transferable skills from our careers. You know, me and Dan had always been hardworking. Dan was a corporate bank manager for 20-odd years. I was in the fitness industry and I was really ambitious. Again, as I said, some things I found more challenging, but I always had, you know, the mindset of, is if I kept practicing things and I kept working at them, I could get better and be successful. So we started to say, what if we could bring all them skills into our Herbalife business? Maybe I could get a customer then. Because at that point, we couldn't even get a customer. Never mind get a customer or a team member. We couldn't even get a customer. So when we started to look at this, we started to go, okay, let's look at creating something that unlocked all 5 income streams, something that had structure. Let's focus on building something that would create royalties with growth and sustainability. And then I remember Dan saying, listen, Claire, every big business, they have a mission. What's our mission going to be? And we started to play with it and get clear on our mission is to help 10,000 people get healthier and happier. And then I remember Dan saying to me, but how are we going to do that? What's the vision? How are we going to break it down? And I always remember Nick Jarvis, our offline mentor, teaching us to take the lid off things and to be free and to stretch. But when you're not in a great place, you can't do that. You get stuck. But with this, we were starting to play. And I was like, oh my God, Dan, let's create 100 profitable budget clubs. At the time, it was just nutrition clubs, and I'm going to come on to that. And then if we break it down, that each of them have 100 customers in, and we do it over 10 years, we can call it Club 100. And we were like, yeah, Club 100, that's the one. And we started to feel alive because we were playful and we'd gone back to supervisor mentality. We put all the pressure to one side. And then Dan was like, and do you know what, Claire? Let's build frontline leaders. Let's put a Pres team member, 10 of them minimum on our front line, because this time we're going to create an army of leaders through the clubs. And I was like, 100%, let's do it. So when I go into this tonight, the first part, I'm going to take you through 6 key points that were a big game changer for us. And I want you to, as you go through, see how I talk about the points and then how breakfast budget clubs fits for that. Does that make sense to everyone? Does that make sense to everyone? Are we all still here? This is a very serious room, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. But this is the thing that you've got to remember. This is a long-term plan. You know, it's about making sure that we do this properly and you manage your expectations. The other thing is you're going to have to dig deep and find the desire. You're going to have to have patience. But it's about consistency. And also, you've got to have great work ethic. You can't complain for the results you don't have, for the work you didn't do. Does everyone get that? But the biggest thing that we want you to go away with from this weekend is clarity. And not just clarity with one thing, clarity with every single part of this model, and we're going to share it with you. So are we ready to get going? Okay, amazing. So let's go. Number 1, it's all about mindset. And for us, we built our business as amateurs for many, many years. So everything we talk about with breakfast budget clubs is building your business as a professional. But here's my question to you. You have to have the mindset of, are you building your nutrition club, your breakfast budget club business as a retail business, or are you building it as royalty business? For us, 1,000,000%, it's about royalties. And this is what I want you to think about. Our breakfast budget clubs, every single one of them are academies to find future club owners. They are the funnel. And it's an amazing location where you get to bring people in as customers who get incredible results, fall in love with the community, and it's your ground to work with these people to help them to graduate. So our clubs for us are royalty building machines that look for club owners. Everyone with me on that? But it's about making sure that you understand that when we build a business, it's our responsibility. It was mine and Dan's when we started. You have to learn to develop self-discipline, self-motivation, but you have to respect it, otherwise you get burnt. Is everyone clear? Okay, and we're going to share that with you this weekend on how to build it with success. Now, the second part is vision. You've got to have a vision. Where are you trying to get to on the marketing plan? And for years, for us, we knew where we wanted to get to. We just didn't know how to get there, and we didn't know how it was made up. So for us, we started to learn about each different level of the marketing plan, how many supervisors, profitable supervisors, happy supervisors, getting great results and making money do we need for each level? And these are examples for each level with this model, okay? But then what if we stretched it? What if we said to you, whatever your vision was tonight, take the lid off and stretch it? What would you write down? Write it down now. Because listen, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Once you set that intention, you start to move towards it, and you have everything you need in this model over these masterclasses to make this possible. And once you've got your vision, with this model, we're able to break it down into clubs. How many clubs do you need at each level to duplicate, to build the level that you want? So as an example, let's say, your intention is you want to become a president's team member. Who'd like to be a president's team member? Okay, I'm not feeling that. Who wants to be a president's team member? Yay! Okay. So if that's your vision, it's 10 profitable clubs. Write that down. And what you're going to see this weekend is every single speaker on stage sharing their vision. But then once you've got your vision, you need your vehicle. You've got to figure out what are you going to be doing on a daily basis and what are you going to be teaching and duplicating in order to bring that to life. And for us, we're very, very clear who we are. So let's go over again just to recap who we are. So our vehicle is we are breakfast budget clubs, and this enables us to duplicate. We're low startup cost. Our sizes are up on the screen. And I always say to our group, listen, if you want to play big with breakfast budget clubs and build a business with growth and sustainability, our clubs are low startup cost, low running cost, highly profitable. And this is important because when you start looking for your location, especially the junior partners in the room or the club owners and you're mentoring people, you always have to remember this. The other thing as well is it's about, well, where are our clubs based? You want to be looking that your clubs are not city centre. I'm just giving you advice because city centre rents are higher. People don't stay, they're in a rush. So our clubs tend to be in suburban areas like around, housing estates, schools, hospitals, things like that. And the other thing is our clubs are breakfast clubs, not lunch clubs, not tea time clubs, not all day clubs. And let me tell you why. Because when you front load your day and you're able to share with people that if they want to become a club owner, our clubs are open 6 mornings a week, say 7 a.m. till 11 or 6:30 till 11. Would you be interested in earning, disclaimer, between £4,000 and £7,000 to £8,000 a month? Is that something you'd be interested in? It's attractive. If I say to you, do you want to be a club owner? We're looking for people, but you've got to work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. It's not attractive. Does everyone get that? So this is important. And with a daily consumption, and basically what that means is each club member has a membership. When they come, they get the daily weigh-in, they get the breakfast, Thrallo tea and smoothie, a mini coaching session on a food diary. They buy products to use at home. But the clubs are a training ground for new trainees and club owners. Remember, we're focused on royalties. We're not retail clubs. Got it? Okay, amazing. And our club's maximum capacity is 100. It's 100, not 170. No, this club needs a little bit more room. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Back in your lane, duplication and royalties. This is important. Okay. And you roughly want, and you're going to hear this weekend, for 100 club members, 40% of them visiting daily. So if you've got 100 club members, you should be doing 40 visits a day. At that point, that means the club is pregnant and the club owner needs to give birth to a new club owner. Got it? Okay. So once you've got that, you then need a way in your club of moving people from customer to supervisor. For us, this is called the pathway. And I'm not going to train on this tonight because this weekend, you are going to be trained in detail every step of the pathway. You're going to be trained what to say, how to say it, and you're going to be shown that the biggest game changer for us was at each part of the pathway, making sure that people use checklists. Also learning mini scripts to move people to the next step. So on the pathway, the green bubble means action. We're doing something. Everyone get it? The red arrow means script to go to the next step. And please never play with the colors. It really freaks me out. Okay? Green means go, red means script, okay? And this weekend, I want you to listen because there'll be parts on this pathway where you'll be moving people through, okay? But there's going to be parts you're going to be constipated. And this weekend, we have to get you unconstipated. We've got to keep them people moving through because we want to be producing every single month new supervisors. All good? And you'll hear us refer to this as the supervisor machine that produces royalties. Now, once you've got your pathway number 5, you need a training structure to underpin it. This is really important because it's important that you have these activities going on. And when me and Dan started, we had a very, very simple timetable. But these are also the starting point of your leadership development program. So yes, you have these activities on. You have your weekly ambassador call, your weekly quick start, which is activation. We're going to cover them this weekend. You've got your weekly academy to teach the organization, your coaches skills. But this is where you start to develop leaders. We put your leaders on this, getting them involved on things like sharing the testimonial on Ambassador, getting involved in panels on the Academy. Then we progress them to host sections. Then we progress them to be at MCs. But this is part of the mentorship program. And then number 6 is how we move people through to be strong, independent leaders. And I love this when we first started because, you know, this, by the way, is not something we built. This was something that we got from other markets. And thank you so much to the Irish and, you know, to many markets out there who shared this with us. But this was the first time ever in Herbalife, me and Dan looked at something and thought, wow, I can see how we can develop people. This reminded me very much, you know, when I was in the fitness industry, we had a manager, an assistant manager, a supervisor who'd be on the floor taking responsibility, and then you'd have all your workout people, yeah? And I related to that, and I was like, okay, I could see how we could move people through. So in our clubs, no matter who you are, everyone starts off as a club member. These are our customers. And out of our club members, we look for people to become trainee coaches, whether they want to build the business part-time or full-time. And then out of our trainees, we look for people who we think would be great club owners, and we introduce them to the Junior Partner Mentorship Program. These are our club owners in the making. And then once we develop them junior partners with skills and mindset, they graduate out and they become club owners. And once they become a club owner and they fill their club with 100 people and they pop their first club, they join the rollout team because they've proven they can duplicate. Does everyone get that? But this, yeah, you can clap for that. Thank you, Rach. But this can take 2 years of learning, and this is where the patience kicks in. But once you've got all that in place, it all comes down to personal production. And the only thing you can control is this. It's what you do. And you're going to hear this over the weekend by every speaker around the magic numbers. You know, if you work in the business part-time, it's 3 new customers a week, and we show you how to do it through referrals. If you're full-time, it's 5. And again, we're going to show you how to do it. But it's important that we're professional and we track our profits. And we've got an amazing section tomorrow with Becky Moore, who's going to go into this in detail. But the one thing that me and Dan remembered from hearing a training many years ago off Leon Wiseman was, you know, whatever model you're working, if you want royalty growth, you've got to be bringing people through and keeping your personal volume, your total volume, between 7,500 to 15,000 plus, even when supervisors graduate out of it. And we were like, okay, we need to develop a way with this model to be able to do that. But we've got to show them that it can be done. Because everything comes back to me and Dan leading the way, not managing, but showing people what's possible. Still with me? Okay. And then once you've got that in place and you have all of that with this model, it's then looking at, okay, is your supervisor machine kicking out new supervisors? And for us, these are some magic numbers. Again, this is a gauge with this model. How many new supervisors on 3 levels should you roughly be kicking out a month over 12 months? And this enables you to see, is your business on track? Have you got constipation that we've got to unblock? Or is your people moving through? But one thing that me and Dan really struggled with for years was tracking. Put your hands up if you like tracking. Okay, I thought a few more would say yes. Okay, well, let me tell you this. Would you like tracking if I said to you, well, if you learn a few basic skills to track, you're on your way to Pres team. Would you like tracking then? Okay, so now we've got different attitudes and mindsets. So this is something that we use, and I'm just going to keep this really simple. For us, we started to learn just a little bit about BizWorks, and this isn't a BizWorks training. I'm just going to show you one place you can go and look. So as you log in, we use new organization analysis. We run the report once the royalties have run, and we play a game of checking, okay, how many new supervisors have we got this month? Let's look at 3 levels because that's where our royalties grow. But let's look at duplication as your business gets a little bit bigger, a little bit more mature on all levels. And once you get into the mindset of it's a game, you're playing the game, again, you can play with it. Did you find that helpful? Okay, amazing, amazing. Okay. So now let's go into the next part of the Junior Partner Mentorship Program. And for this, I'm going to let rip. Translation, I'm not sure if you get that. But what I mean is for me, this is my favorite topic. Because when we first started, you know, building our breakfast budget clubs, one of the things that we got stuck with was, for the first year, we were definitely just a retail club. We weren't duplicating anyone out. And me and Dan couldn't really figure out why, because we were highly excited, we were working hard, and I'm going to Dan, I'm having a proper moment. It's not working. And I was getting really disheartened. I don't know if anyone can relate to that. And I remember me and Dan sitting down looking at, and we were like, okay, let's go back to the career ladder. Let's look at where have we got blockages? Where are these people getting stuck? Because we're not producing club owners. And there was 2 key areas. So the first thing was we were great at getting club members, filling the funnel, because we loved what we were doing. We were committing to 1 hour a day inviting 5 new club members a week, and we were actually getting better at referrals. We were building relationships, getting results, and we were developing a couple of scripts. Get it? But then we looked at, okay, we've got a problem. We had trainees in our club, and some of them had no intention of going on to be full-time or to have a career and open a club. But we were letting these trainees build up to like 25, 30 customers in club and maybe 1 to 2 trainees. But remember, we've only got 100 spaces. So we were letting these people fill up, but they had no intention of getting their own club, because let's look at the reality of it. If they're doing a couple of hours a week helping out on the rota, which they'll cover, but they're earning a couple of grand, are they really going to want the responsibility of their own club? And I felt like someone punched me in the face, because, yeah, Dan's saying it was him. No, he didn't punch me in the face. But, so we started to look at, okay, we need a way of monitoring this. So let's look at, once a trainee coach gets up to 10 to 15 club members, customers, we need to have a conversation. We need to sit down and find out where are they at, but also let them know how amazing they're doing. Because remember, this trainee coach could have been Rita, who only came to your club to lose some weight or to drop a bit of body fat. All of a sudden now she's a trainee coach, and her vision, she's never even really thought about having her own club, let alone rolling clubs out. Do you get that? So at this point, this is where we really started to work with our trainee coaches to have conversations, to really sit down with them and to show them what's possible, but also to chat with them. And if we really thought that they could do this, we would tell them, Rita, I think you'd be amazing at this. Our vision is we're going to roll 100 of these clubs out, and I would love you to be in my team. Is this something you'd be open to have a chat about? And everything started to change, because the people who wanted to come with us would, but then also the people who didn't, we capped them. Any future customers that they had coming in, they had to put them in some form of online community. Does everyone get that? And that was quite tough as a club owner, because we were chasing just trying to pay the rent and fill it. But it had to be done, because it was a mindset of, we're looking for club owners to duplicate. We're not looking for a retail club of 100 people. And then the second part was on the junior partner mentorship program. We started to figure out that we had 1 or 2 junior partners, but we couldn't get rid of them. And one of them's going to come on the stage in a minute, because she was really comfortable. She had her slippers on in club because the rent was paid. She had no responsibility. She's going to murder me for saying this. By the way, I'm exaggerating for this person. But can you see what was happening? These junior partners were having such a great time making all this money, no responsibility. Why on earth would they want to move out and get their own club? So we started to look at, okay, we need to get clarity on this. And this is what we started to form. So let's recap or go through, if it's your first time, what is the Junior Partner Mentorship Program? So the minimum requirement is that these junior partners have to have brought in a minimum of 10 first-line club members. They've got to show to go junior partner they're willing to get uncomfortable and invite. Got it? They've also got to be booking in wellness evaluations and filling the diary, so starting to learn that skill. They've got to commit to a minimum of 4 to 5 shifts a week in club. Our club is 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Some clubs open at 6:30 a.m. So go back, to the club that you're attached to. They've also got to be plugging into our weekly academy. So they've got to show that they're willing to learn, they want to commit, they're learning skills. They've got to be attending the events, but also they've got to have completed a 20 simple, practical checklist as a trainee. So our trainee coaches, and Anne-Marie Duffy is going to cover this in the career ladder section tomorrow. There's 20 simple skills. They've got to have signed that off. They've got to have the foundation in place. They've got to be teachable, positive, solution-driven. We can nourish that, by the way, and nurture it. But also as well, they've got to have a strong product result. But it can take 12 months to find from someone first being a club member to bringing them through as junior partner. So please be patient with everyone. Now, once they become junior partner, we started to look at, okay, we've got to get this junior partner ready to open their own club. So we've got to teach them 8 simple business skills. And, you know, all these documents are going to be shared in the Telegram Junior Partner and Club Owners group on Monday. Again, you're going to get information about how you get into that group if you're not there. And it's for people outside of mine and Dan's organisation. We also thought, okay, we need to help these people build a business within our club where they could literally build a community of 30 to 40 customers, 2 to 3 trainees in the environment of our club, learning skills, understanding how to run it, where they could literally pick that club up when they were ready after 3 to 6 months, move out, open their club with a club in profit. Ready-made customer base, ready-made team in place. The business is already making money, but they have the mindset and the skills to underpin that. But they've also as well got to be looking at bringing in 5 new customers a week. And at this point, we want them to develop an income testimonial. And we started to draw this structure, and I'm really visual. So if you talk to me, I really, really like to see things. I'm all about the pictures, me, yeah? So when we were talking about this, and Dan's a numbers guy, he was doing the numbers, and I was just like, that means nothing to me. And he was like, let me draw it and show you. I could really relate to this. And I was like, right, okay. This is the business plan for a junior partner. We can visually show people what they need to build within the club. And then the big breakthrough that you heard me talk about was, rather than relying on our ambassador call, where they show the opportunity of club members becoming ambassadors and getting discounts, or joining the trainee coach program, rather than relying on that to do the work to build the team, we became more proactive. So in club, we started having conversations and approaching club members to say to them, listen, we're looking at rolling 100 of these clubs out. We're looking for people who are interested in working, you know, Monday to Saturday, 7 a.m. to 11, and earn anything from £4,000 to £8,000 a month. I would love you on my team. Would you be up for having a chat? And this was a breakthrough, because what we found then is the people that we were bringing in, we started to find more people who wanted to roll out clubs, okay? And we started then to also document a really simple junior partner activation checklist. So this weekend you're going to hear, you know, how do we activate trainee coaches? Because it's important we put money in the pocket and we teach them skills fast. Junior partners, it's really important we do the same. And we're going to train on this in our next masterclass, hopefully in kickoff in January. But it's a very simple checklist that will be shared into the group. But we also identified that there was 3 other key things we had to work with our junior partners. By the way, you all still here? Sure? Okay, I'm feeling it, good. So the first thing was we started to develop 3 simple documents. The first one was a junior partner agreement, because we started to identify that we had some challenge with clarity of communication what was expected of the junior partner, what the time scale was. So by having a written document when we were activating, where we could read and discuss and both sign, that gave us documentation that we would keep in a folder. Open communication is everything. The second thing was the 8 core skills that we said. We started to document it on a piece of paper, and within club we were doing tell, show, try, do. We started to put these skills down, and when we would train our junior partners on one of the skills, we would give recognition. And oh my God, they loved it. And we loved it. And we were all vibing and buzzing together because the junior partner was growing and learning. It's a bit like your kids. You work with them growing up and you see them grow into these amazing people. This is what the junior partner starts to become, and it gave us structure and clarity in their development. And then the biggest breakthrough that we had was we started to work with junior partners, and they would invite and bringing people in to the pathway in club. And they got really good at bringing people through and finding trainee coaches. But when they were activating the trainee coaches and doing wellness evaluations with these new coaches with tell, show, try, do, the junior partner had these appointments in the diary and they were made up and we were made up. But they stopped bringing in frontline customers. So they had this going on, but themselves, they stopped filling the funnel with new blood. And that created peaks and troughs in their volume, because it'd go up, people had graduated supervisor, boom, it'd come down. So we started to look at, okay, what can we put in place to help that? And we came up with a 90-day activity plan. And what this was is we started to work with the junior partner to say, listen, yes, you want to be doing all these other things, but you have to still bring in order to retain your junior partner mentorship program, 10 frontline new customers over 90 days. That's only 1 a week. So yes, doing all these referrals, and yes, doing all these tell, show, try, do with wellness evaluations, but you have to remain disciplined and that habit of bringing in frontline customers. And this really enabled us to work with our junior partners that if it started to go down, we could sit and grab a thermo, grab this sheet, check where they were up to, and if they were going a little bit distracted, we could pull them back into frontline inviting. Does that make sense to everyone? And this enabled them to learn the skills to, yes, be building their team, but also making sure that they never stopped bringing in frontline. Okay, got it? Okay. Okay, so the next thing was we had to really make sure that when these people were signing for locations, we had to set them up for success. And one of the big things that me and Dan learned, you know, at the very first time when we opened our club was we learned about budget clubs. And people say to us, where does that come from? You know, Dan calls us, I'm not sure if I'm going to get into trouble for this, I'm so sorry, corporate. But he calls us the EasyJet of nutrition clubs, yeah? Because we had no money. So when we opened our first club, we had no money to set it up, no money to pay the rent. Everything was bought off Facebook Market, but it was the cleanest thing you've ever seen. Like, it didn't smell. It was amazing. It was spotless. It was simple. But then we had to make sure that 6 weeks before our doors opened, that we had a minimum of 30 new club members. Guess what for? To pay the rent, because we didn't have a saving pot that we could sit on and get comfortable to pay the rent. So we came up with Breakfast Budget Club because we wanted to show people that you could do that, and this was the business model, and it was achievable, and it was attractive. And then we came up with the 6-week pre-launch. This was our 6-week pre-launch, and this is the checklist we teach to every club that is opening. 1 hour a day inviting with a simple list of what you do built over 6 weeks. A massive shout out to Katie Spall, who's in the audience, because she designed this with me. So thank you, Katie. And by doing this, we opened Grassendale. We actually opened with 32 club members, and we had 2 trainee coaches, and that covered the rent. And this is the first discipline as a junior partner you have to learn. And if you don't learn this, you go into your club falling at the first hurdle. And I say to our club owners, and I say to our junior partners, I don't want to hear the story of why you didn't do this, because the first point of success for you to build in a royalty check with growth and sustainability is the discipline of committing to 1 hour a day in your 6-week pre-launch, not 4 weeks. People go to me, oh, I can get in our club sooner. I'm going to condense it to 4 weeks. No, you're not. Because it takes 6 weeks to build momentum. You've got to show that you have the discipline and the commitment to do it. Do we all get that? As you can tell, I'm quite passionate about that, yeah? And on the back of that, this is what people can build. Remember, this is the business plan that you want them to have going into your club. But year 1 is all about this. And put your hand up if you've opened a club in the last 12 months. Okay. I'm going to give you a big, massive hug, because you are amazing for having the courage to do it. But this, yeah, give them a clap. But this is what I want you to remember from me and Dan. Year 1 is all about learning the basics. It's also about being in trainee mindset on the floor, helping people. You want to try and build to that 100 community within the first year and start to build your team of coaches. And you want to look by the end of year 1 roughly to find your first potential club owner. You've got to learn how to operate your club, and you've got to become bulletproof. You've got to make sure that even when days are tough, guess what? Bet you it's not as bad as 24 hours before you joined Herbalife. Can anyone relate to that? Okay. And you've also got to start to get involved with any support structure, trainer structure that you do, and volunteer your time, develop your skills, and you want to build your income. But the main thing is, it's leading by example. Just focus on filling your club. Your emotions is going to do this. It's a bit like when you first have a baby. You know, the first 2 weeks, it's like pixie dust is everywhere. And Christmas Eve, it's like magical, isn't it? Your first few weeks in club, that's what it's like. And then the sleepless nights kick in, like the kid. Your baby's crying. Oh my God, getting up in the night. This is hard work because you're doing early mornings. You're having to make sure that you battle through. But then your baby takes its first step or starts feeding itself, and you're like, Dan, it's so worth it. That's like running your club. Okay? Get it? So you've got to ride that emotion, and you've got to roll with it. And then once your club's open, and you'll see this over the weekend, this is what Club 100 looks like. And Anne-Marie Duffy is going to cover this in the next section, breaking it down so you understand. And Club 100 in PIN format, this is what it looks like. It's becoming a global expansion team member, and you want to find 3 serious people who want to join the mission with you, 3 active supervisors. Every single one of you can do that. The only thing you need to focus on is filling the funnel 5 new club members a week and moving them along the pathway to supervisor. And duplication will start to happen. And that's how you create the stats that give you the personal production that you put in, move people along to get the new supervisors popping out, that creates the royalty growth. And your junior partners and club owners support that leadership and lead the way. Okay? And this is what our organisation looks like now. And all I would say to you is me and Dan are just cleared and done. We just figured a few things out. We didn't quit. Today, on Monday, when we go back into club, we're still frontlining. We are going to build this as wide as we can. Duplication's happening through the pathway. But when I stand in Tesco on Monday, people from abroad, you might not know what Tesco is. It's a supermarket. No one knows that I'm Claire Fox, Senior Executive Team Member 30K. I'm just Claire in my local community, looking for my next club owner. Okay, so did we enjoy that? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, last 15 minutes, we thought we would have a little bit of fun with this, and we wanted to do a little bit of question and answers. So I'm going to invite 2 people to come up, and we're going to ask them questions all about developing junior partners and club owners. What have been their common challenges, and also what would their top tips be? So are we ready for this? Okay. My first person I'm going to invite onto the stage, her background is a biomedical scientist. She works the business with her hubby. They've been building their business for 12 years, and it's roughly 4 years ago they got involved in breakfast budget clubs. At the time, they had 45 supervisors, but their business royalty was down around active world team. Okay? They now have 39 clubs, 610 profitable supervisors. Please welcome our first Q&A panelist, Executive President C20K, Amrita Faye! Woo! Give it a cheer, everyone! Love ya. Right, our second panelist, her background was she was a manager for Ford Motor Company. She's a mum. She was our very first trainee coach in Grassendale Club. She started at 35%. They have now, her and her partner, got 14 clubs, 296 supervisors. They are the UK's newest President's Team members, Grace Tierney!
Back on time.
Do you remember?
Ready?
21st night of September.
Okay. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to ask them a couple of questions. And we actually got these questions from quite a lot of the different organisations. They don't really know what the questions are, okay? So we're going to roll with it. We're going to freestyle it. But we want to know the truth. Would anyone agree with that? Okay, so first question, ladies, I will ask, and then I'll direct it. But feel free to chip in. All good? Have you got your notepads ready? Okay, so first question, what happens if your junior partner stays too long? So they've gone over the 3 to 6 month time scale of the mentorship program. Who wants to have a go at asking that?
Yeah, I'll go.
Off we go.
The reason why I want to answer this question is because this has happened to me and Gavin, our club. So about 2 years ago, we had a junior partner, and you know, we were still new, we were still learning, and it was coming up to 6 months, and we hadn't had that conversation with her, about when she was moving out. But we also noticed she wasn't bringing in new people, and unfortunately, it got to that point where we did have to have that conversation with her. You know, are you going? And it's not, it's not nice. Is it, Dan?
We had to have that conversation with Grace, by the way.
And, you know, it can cause a bit of bad feeling, can't it? And it's not nice. But what it was doing was it was blocking mine and Gav's personal production. It was blocking our team's personal production as well because the club was full. So we had to have that conversation. And it went well. And she moved out.
Okay. Can anyone relate to that? Yeah? Okay. Junior partners, they're like, okay, next question. So, what would you do if your junior partner was not filling the funnel personally and bringing through their 10 frontline new club members, new customers, in order to retain their junior partner mentorship program? Anne-Marie, do you want to have a go at that?
Yeah, I'll touch on this because it's happened to us. And Claire, you touched on it, not just briefly there, about having the 90-day activity plan for junior partners. And it's so important to use the tools with everyone because when you're having your catch-ups with your junior partners, you want to be able to have it in black and white that they're actually bringing in frontline club members, just so then that you can help guide them. Because when they're trying to work with their team and they're taking on all these other responsibilities in clubs, sometimes they can just drop that ball. But it's our role as their mentor to sit down with them and make sure that they're aware that they've just dropped that, and then we can put a little plan in place to help them.
Yes. Found that helpful? Yeah? Okay, amazing. So, what would you do if you had a junior partner who found a location, they were dead excited, and they come in and said to you, I found my location, I've signed the lease, but I'm going to open in 4 weeks, so I'm just going to condense the 6-week pre-launch. I'm going to do it in 4 weeks.
Can I answer this one? Because we've just recently had this situation. First of all, for me, it's, do they understand why it's a 6-week pre-launch? We haven't just plucked 6 weeks out of thin air. So it's helping them understand why it's 6 weeks and not 4. So it has to be 6 weeks because those first 4 weeks are where you're going out and doing your promotion activity, getting out and showcasing that your club is going to open, and that builds the momentum. For then the last 2 weeks are where you've got your appointments and your wellness evaluations booked in so that you open in profit with club members. When they understand that, that's then when they go, oh, okay, it makes more sense.
For me as well, it's about mindset as well, isn't it, Anne-Marie? Like that 6 weeks, are you cut out for it? Because it's consistency.
Yeah.
And when you're in your own club and you've got other things going on, you know, club members coming in, you're growing a team, you need to be able to still be inviting. So it's around, it gets you ready and develop mindset-wise as well.
It creates the culture,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
The daily discipline. Okay, brilliant. So, what are the first skills you help your new JP with, your new junior partner with, to develop? Anne-Marie, do you want to have a go at that?
The very first thing you've got to help them develop with the skill is looking for their location for their club. We made the mistake with our very first junior partner, Val, in just letting Val try and find it on her own. And then we were like, we haven't even done tell, show, try, do. So that was something that we learned moving forward. So it can take time to find a venue for your club. So it's learning that, helping them learn that skill, because then they can also, when they're rolling out their own clubs and they've got junior partners, that they can actually go and teach their junior partners how to find a location for the club.
Yeah, great one. Okay, next one. What would you say are the biggest challenges you've faced so far with club owners? Ooh. Grace.
Is that Michelle Hymas laughing?
They know.
No, so again, going back to filling the funnel themselves, yeah, because when they're in their own club, taking the eye off that ball because that affects their mindset. Because action cures everything, yeah, and when they're not doing that, the mindset dips. I'd say that's mine. What would you say yours is, Anne-Marie?
For mine, it's definitely using checklists.
In what way?
Because, so when a brand new club owner is running their own club, they have been drilled as a junior partner in your club to use checklists from day dot. When they get into their own club, I would say for the first, when they first open, yes, that is there. They're using checklists. And I think when you kind of become then, you're busy, your club's busy, you've got coaches, you've got junior partners yourself, you can almost become a little bit complacent and think, do you know what, I don't really need to use that anymore because I know what I need to do. They lose sight of what the checklists are there for, which is to help with duplication and to show people that all you've got to be able to do is follow a checklist and not have some special skills.
And then they'll come up with challenges with team because they won't be able to be trained up as quickly because they'll assume that they know without following something.
It impacts standards
Yeah,
as well. In clubs,
definitely.
standards start to go down, with complacency and stuff. Has that helped everyone? Yeah? Okay, nearly done. So, good one this. I love this one. Let's go to you, Anne-Marie. How do you recognise your junior partners and club owners?
Well, one of the big things is we will always recognize in our team Facebook groups or support groups. But what we've learned, because in the past we just used to recognize them for doing certain amounts of volume, okay? So it was very volume driven. But what we do now is we recognize the behaviors that they're showing in clubs and the new skills that they're developing, like things like, what would you say, Grace, like first time on shift, making their first smoothie. Or
First activating their own trainee coach.
out inviting in the community. So we're always recognising people for those behaviours rather than just volume.
Well, the behaviours become the volume.
Of course.
Oh, I like that. Did we write that down?
Yeah.
That was posh. Okay. This is a good one. Love this one. How do you work with someone who has a blockage, so they've got a bit of constipation going on, bringing new supervisors through the pathway? Grace?
So first of all, we track. So we have to find where the blockage is first. Okay, so we use our pathway tracker, which Anne-Marie is going to do a section on. And for me, because we're always taught by tell, show, try, do, at the masterclasses, we're up here, we're role playing. I do that with our team. So if they're stuck at, bringing ambassadors to trainee coaches, it's something around the 2-week review. I'll role play it with them. And then on a bigger scale, I'll do like workshops with our clubs.
Okay, so for anyone who doesn't really know what that is, so just as an example, how long would that workshop be in your club?
About an hour.
About an hour.
Hour and a half, yeah.
And I mean, do you have like loads of PowerPoints and a big presentation?
No. It's just me.
And a checklist.
See how simple that is?
I was going to say that.
Yeah. Duplication. Okay, amazing. Anything else for you, Anne-Marie?
No, just what Grace has covered.
Okay, last one. How do you expose your club people to the bigger picture of Herbalife, Anne-Marie?
Well, first of all, in our clubs, for every event, we have a board where we actually promote the next Herbalife event. So we want everyone in club, from ambassadors all the way up to junior partners, to be coming to that next event. And then I know one of the biggest things that made such a shift was getting our club members, because they're used to the community of club, but to actually get their partners to come with them to the events really just, it just helps them with that support and raises their vision.
So who's a partner in the room who's been dragged to an event previously? Put your hand up. My husband, I dragged him, Dan. Yeah.
Actually,
love
Duffy
that.
dragged me,
love
to be
that.
honest.
And there was something else that you said. I hope you don't mind me elaborating. You mentioned that we don't just bring to the events trainee coaches and junior partners and club owners. We actually invite and bring our club ambassadors. And that was a game changer for us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It really was, because we had a lot of people, and even now this weekend, we've got ambassadors coming, and their vision will expand come Monday. Does that make sense to everyone? Yeah? All good? Okay, so I'm going to ask you to stay on stage. I'm going to wrap up now sharing our top tips from creating independent leaders. But for this section, number one, did you enjoy it? Okay. And here's what I would say to you. You know, you are the leadership. And together, we're going to change the world. We're only just getting started. And every single person sitting on your table, I want you to look at them. Because these people are going to become your friends, your buddies, and we're going to grow and learn together. And right now, we've got probably about 650 people in this room. By this time next year, we are going to double this.
Yes.
And I want you to remember, and this is from the girls and for everyone on the front tables, to know we're going to go on a journey together. You are not expected to learn everything this weekend. Do you all understand that? Because we're going to keep coming back to the masterclasses, and we're going to be professional. We're going to commit to a long-term plan. We're going to learn together. We're going to grow. And we are going to be successful together. Together. So these are our top tips to close us out. Number one, become professional in the Breakfast Budget Club model. Here's what I would say to you. You can't bunny hop into different models. If you want to really grow a large royalty check with growth and sustainability, run with it and stay fixated on Breakfast Budget Clubs. The second thing is set the intention to build and create a supervisor machine. It's all about put your mindset in the right place. As a professional, we spoke. Get clear. What is your vision? What are you looking to create? And I and the girls and the leadership give you permission to take the lid off whatever that initial vision was when you first walked in this door. And master the pathway. Do not bunny hop or take shortcuts. You can't do it. If you want success with growth and sustainability, you follow it and you listen tight this weekend and plug into the weekly training structure. That is what will build skills in your organization, and use the career ladder to identify and develop leaders. But listen, it all comes back to personal production. That's the only thing that you can control. If you're full-time, it's 5 new club members a week. If you're part-time, it's 3. And start to get a little bit familiar with BizWorks. Do not put your head in BizWorks if you're not inviting. You've got to learn to do multiple skills. Not sure what that was. Yeah, but you got what I meant, didn't you? And then the last 2 is make sure that you use the Junior Partner Mentorship Program to develop strong club owners, but also yourself. Stick to it like glue. Follow it, speak to your mentor, and absolutely run with it. And then the last thing is follow the 6-week pre-launch. We want to help you guys to open your clubs in profit, because that is what you will pass the baton to other people that you help to go on to be club owners. And it's a long-term plan, 3 to 5 years, because we're professional. And what we're going to build, we're going to create legacies to pass on to our family. But you need desire. You've got to have patience. You've got to be consistent. But most of all, great work ethic. And guess what? Have loads of fun as you're doing it. Back to Lee Duffy! Thank you, girls!
You don't get them girls loose. You don't get the world loose. You don't get money, but I do. I say y'all having a good time out there.
Okay, translators, have you had a little breather? Ready to go again? Right, so it's funny, the first thing I wrote down on my notes was unblock constipation. And what I would say for everyone in this room now, the leadership, you know, Claire touched on quite a few things there, but what I would do is have a little look at your business now as it is. And maybe, you know, we're having a few drinks after this, but before you go to bed tonight, just make a couple of notes of where you might need to unblock some things in your business. And then over the weekend, have a little look and go, okay, how do I rate myself? Did I find any solutions? And then connect with your upline, connect with your mentors, and have a conversation over what things you could do and put in place, because some of the things Anne-Marie's going to show you in the next section hopefully will help you with that as well. And for me, I think the checklists, the scripts, all of the things that are put in there, I hope everyone understands, especially the new guys, that these are not an idea that someone's come up with. There's a philosophy behind them, and they've been created to solve problems as Claire and Dan were building their business. So if I can give everyone any advice, don't change anything, keep everything as it is. Maybe there's some things you look at and you don't quite understand why they're there. Trust me, everything's there for a reason. They've all been tried and tested, and they work. If you change things, you're actually creating an alternative model, and it's doing a disservice to anyone you bring in if you are changing it as well. Are we all agreed on that? Are we all good on that one, yeah? Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to make one quick apology. I introduced Claire as 20K, senior executive. Not, thank you, Justin. They're moving that quick. I can't keep up. Right, so the next speaker who we're going to bring up for the last section of the evening, she's part of the UK S&P. She's a K's contributor. I'm reading it off this list. She's a huge part of the committee which has put this together with Claire, Grace, and Debbie Ashcroft, Justin, other people as well. And she's also the brains and the beauty of her business. Again, her words, not mine. My amazing wife, Anne-Marie Duffy!
Just been laughing. I was sat over there when Claire said, can you put your hand up if you like tracking? And about 3 people put their hands up. I thought, oh, this is not going to go down well for my section. So hopefully in the next 30 minutes, a few more hands will go up about tracking. Okay, so that's what I'm going to cover today. How to build and track your Club 100. So we've just had a great section off Claire, where she's talking about the importance of how to build your business plan, okay? To create and to move up the marketing plan to where you want to go. But we need to be able to know if what we're doing, all the hard work we're putting in, is it actually getting us to where we want to get to? We have to track. There's no getting away from tracking, okay? But I'm just going to break it down for you really simple over the next 30 minutes, just so you've got a little bit of an understanding to take away so that come Monday, I hope you're actually a little bit excited to go, oh, I want to be able to use this, and I'm interested to see what I get from it, okay? So, just briefly, I'm going to touch on my story. You've heard most of it from Lee, okay? So, yes, I was a biomedical scientist. That was my chosen career. I loved it, okay? I just didn't really like the politics that went with it, but I just found it really interesting. And as Lee said, we started off as customers when Claire sent me the guinea pig message. I don't even think I read it properly. I just replied yes, because she was a friend and she was asking for help. I'll tell you this really quick, I actually turned up in gym gear because Claire used to be my old personal trainer. So I actually thought we were going to work out. And then she got me on the scales, and that's where it went from. But anyway, so we got on the products and really started it part-time. I was not interested in becoming a Herbalife distributor, business builder. I wanted discount, and it was 25% that I wanted. I said to her, I don't even want 35%. I just want to stay ordering at 25. I just didn't get it. Okay? Then naturally started to really fall in love with seeing the difference in ourselves and in our family and friends who were using the products, and that's when we decided to do it part-time. It was always around our full-time jobs, and then it got to the point where we loved Herbalife and what we were doing part-time more than what we were doing in our full-time careers. So that's when we decided to go full-time. We did get to Get Team in 11 months. We thought we'd cracked it, okay? We thought we'd be Pres Team within 2 years. We were like, this is dead simple. Then, as Lee said, we got stuck for 6 years. And we were trying, but we were amateurs. Looking back now, there's no wonder our business went backwards, because we were building it like amateurs. Low personal production, we had no pathway, weak activation, we didn't track. No matter how many times we got given a tracker, I didn't want to see it. Okay? I didn't want to see what the numbers said. And we did that for 6 years. And it wasn't until, a couple of the team got involved with Claire and Dan in the breakfast budget clubs that we actually thought, you know what? We need to put our egos to one side, me especially, okay? Put the ego to one side, go and speak to Claire and Dan, see what it is all about, and go from there. And we absolutely fell in love with what we saw, what we heard, and we said to Claire and Dan, tell us what to do. We've been trying to reinvent a million wheels, okay? We just need to know what to do so we can go and do it. And that's what we did. They said 5 new club members a week, move them through the pathway to supervisor, creating independent leaders. This is what you're going to go and do. And that's when we were like, okay, we're now going to go professional. We're going to work. We're really going to focus. We're going to take the next 2 to 3 years to really master this model, rather than trying to do all different things. And that was the game changer for us, going back to basics. This is what, thanks Claire, this is what's happened over the last 4 years. You've seen that. And our clubs, this is what the organization looks like. As we said, we've got 39 clubs. This is our vision. So if you have a vision, you need to be able to make sure that you can track, to make sure that you are moving towards that vision, okay? So everything is underpinned with tracking. Now today, okay, even with those 3 hands that went up, I bet you there's a few people in this room that as soon as people say the word tracking, you feel sick. And you feel uncomfortable even listening to the word, okay? That used to be me, and it's all right. I'm not up here saying you've got to become a master tracker. What I'm saying is, it's all right to know where you are, but if we want to be able to build and be successful, we have to step outside of our comfort zones and learn some new skills, okay? And that is all I'm asking you to do today, is to be open to learning new skills, to be able to see what you're building, okay? Like I said, if you're working hard in club, don't you want to make sure that the time and effort you're putting in is getting you to where you want to get to? Yeah? Then we have to track. And that's where I'm going to cover today. So, does that sound like a public announcement? Like a service announcement? Yeah? No? Okay. Yeah, they are, they're tracking. Okay, so what I want you to be able to do, so I'm going to go into 2 trackers today. Now, you're not going to learn all this in one go, and even when you're sitting here and I'm talking, you might think, oh my God, that's gone over my head, and I don't really understand. What I just want you to do is, our next masterclass is our kickoff in January, okay? What I want you to do is, from now until then, is just have a go at using the trackers. And when you come back into the masterclass at kickoff, we'll delve a little bit deeper. This is something that you're going to have to just keep using and reviewing every time you come to an event. Is that okay? So I'm not expecting you to walk out here and go, oh my God, I've cracked it. I know exactly what I need to do. I just want you to be able to have more of an understanding so that you're not afraid of it, basically, yeah? Because a lot of people look at trackers and go, oh, don't even bother, because they're scared. I'm going to hopefully today show you just how to use it and how simple it can be, okay? So what I'm going to cover, there's 2 trackers, like I said. So we've got the Club Owners Tracker, which helps us see how we're creating Club 100. And then it's underpinned by the Pathway Tracker, okay? And we've been asked to cover the Pathway Tracker because people have it and have access to it. They just don't know how to use it. So I'm just going to delve a little bit deeper into the Pathway Tracker, just to give you examples of what you need to fill it, okay? Is everyone with me? Okay. So all of the Pathway Tracker is already in this Telegram chat, but I will upload the Club 100 tracker, the Club Owners Tracker, on Monday once the event is finished, okay? I'm not really going to go into a training around the Club Owners Tracker. I am really just going to focus on the Pathway Tracker. So, as Claire's just said, this is the marketing plan in how many clubs that we want to build in our communities in order to get to where we want to get to. So we have the magic numbers in the top left-hand corner, okay? And it's all around Club 100 being a 20,000 organisation per club, 100 active club members, 3 junior partners, who've got 3 trainees each, which equals 9 trainee coaches, which is approximately 12 to 13 supervisors. And that's how we build a profitable business. So this is your plan, okay? We have this up in club as well, and we also have it up at home where we fill in names in those circles. This is your business plan, your blueprint, to make sure that you're building your Club 100 in the right way in order to be having junior partners graduate to roll out more clubs, okay? And how do we know that we're building our Club 100 in those building blocks of junior partners and trainee coaches? We actually have a tracker, and it's called the Club Owners Tracker. And a club owner and a junior partner, when they're learning, but a club owner will fill this in once a month. They'll have a chat with the mentor. Yeah, so our guys will fill this in. They'll send this to us. We'll have a chat with them. And this gives them an overview or a snapshot of what their club looks like, okay? and we review it and discuss what their findings are from filling it in. And like I said, I'm not going to go into too much detail or a training on this tracker, but I have to talk about this tracker before the pathway tracker, okay? So this is the club owner's tracker, and it's done in 90-day plans, so we do 3 months at a time. There are a couple of things that I'm going to touch on, because we need to touch on them in order to be able to see where the blockages are in our business. And like what Claire said, this weekend you're going to hear from a lot of people on stage who mention that they had a blockage, okay? I've had a blockage in my business, I went and did this, and I'm now don't have that blockage anymore. How did they know about that? And we touched on this then with Grace in the Q&A, is they fill in their trackers, okay? So that's when we talk about it, that's what we're talking about. So with the club owners, intentions are at the top of this tracker, okay? Intentions of how many club members are going to be joining club. And on there it says club owner, personal activity, in brackets, weekly. Why? Because we always want to have the club owner personally bringing in new people, frontlining their club members, taking responsibility for filling their own club. Because like we said before, sometimes club owners can just look at this and think, this is what the club is doing, and forget that they also need to be filling that funnel. Okay, so it keeps them accountable to make sure that they are still personally building frontline. Next thing that we look at, how many supervisors or coaches in your club, not the organization as a whole, and not ambassadors that are supervisors? There's a difference. Why do we only want to know how many supervisors or coaches in your club? Because we always want to be building these junior partners who are going to be breaking away and opening their own club. Okay? We don't want to just pretend that we've got more supervisors in club when 75% of them are going to be ambassadors who aren't going anywhere. Okay? So we always keep bringing it back to that Club 100 diagram. Then we want to look at the total volume of all the supervisors in the club, because what we're trying to build is the magic numbers of Club 100, the 20,000 organizational volume. Okay? Is everyone still with me? Okay, really serious. So, when we look at this tracker, and I'll be honest, a lot of club owners fill this tracker in first because it's an easier fill, and it's a club as a whole, okay? That's my opinion, that's my perception, but this is what I've found. So, this one will always be filled in with all of the details, and they're like, yep, done me tracker, because that's the snapshot of the club. But what we want to be able to delve into is, okay, well, if they haven't got any new trainees coming through month on month, or there's no junior partners, and there's no new supervisors coming in month on month, the one thing that we then have to go back to is, okay, if you're not producing new supervisors, there's a blockage in your business somewhere. And as a mentor, I want to help that person work out where that blockage is. And that is where the pathway tracker is introduced. And this is the one that's in the Telegram group that people have got access to, but are kind of struggling with filling it out, okay? So this is obviously our pathway. And then we have this tracker. And identifying the blockages helps us personalize the plan of action that that club owner can go and do in order to rectify their business, okay? So we have the pathway, and everyone knows that we invite to get to take everyone through to supervisor. But everyone's business is going to have blockages in different areas, okay? Because we're all different people. We've all got different skills, and we needed this to be able to identify where those blockages were. So what is the pathway tracker? It's a spreadsheet, okay? And already people go, switch off. So it's a spreadsheet. And I've had to cut it in two, but it's one long spreadsheet, okay? You have to scroll along the bottom. And it's one long spreadsheet because this takes us through the pathway, okay? From invite all the way through to how many supervisors are coming through. You can see the green circles off the pathway at the top because each of these columns represents a step on the pathway, okay? So some people will say to us, Excel spreadsheets just really freak me out and I'm terrified of them. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to get you to write down these numbers, and if you don't know them, then you can go and find them out. Because when you understand the information that you need to know in order to fill out the pathway tracker, it actually becomes really simple, okay? So what information do you need to know? How many people did you invite for a wellness evaluation? How many wellness evaluations did you do, let's say for October, okay? So write down how many wellness evaluations that you did in October. How many new club members did you get in the month of October? How many referrals did you get? How many club members qualified as ambassadors? And how many of them actually activated their Herbalife membership? How many new trainees did you bring through? And how many new junior partners? And how many people moved to 35, 42, and 50%? If you've got these numbers, you can easily fill in the pathway tracker. It's just knowing where, okay? So I'm going to give you an example of a pathway tracker that I've put together, okay? Just to give you an idea of what you need to fill in. So one misconception and you might not be able to see this really close up, but the first column under where it says date, August 24, it's got the word name. People actually think that that's for the names of the wellness evaluations or the club members that they've brought in. It's not. It's for your name as the club owner, but also the names of your trainee coaches that you're working with. Okay? So when you fill it in, if you're a club owner, when you fill this in for yourself, you also add your trainee coaches information so that we can see what's duplicating in the club as well. Okay? So that is that column right there. That is where your name goes as the club owner and any coaches that you're working with. Now, I've put numbers in, okay? Numbers in, invitations, wellness evaluations. I'm not going to touch on them today, but let's say, for example, this was given to us by a club owner, and we could see their numbers. The very first thing that we would say to this club owner is, okay, what did you identify from filling in this pathway tracker? And one of the very first things is they would probably say this column has got zeros in. And this column is about how many referrals that they have got in that month of August. So right away, we can see that the blockage is in the referrals of this person's business. Then we can dig deeper, okay? We can then have a conversation. Okay, so you're not getting any referrals as the club owner, and neither are any of your trainee coaches. So obviously duplication is happening because the club owner's not doing it, but they're also haven't taught their trainee coaches to do it as well. So I, as a mentor, I'd ask them, okay, well, when are you asking for referrals? And I would role play with them. I'd get them to tell me exactly what they say in club of a day-to-day, okay? Then we would put a little plan of action in place. Because what can happen, the beauty of filling this in, is what can happen when you're in club is you get so busy with being in club, on the floor, filling in, like, checking food diaries, making shakes, topping up water, aloe, tea. And using the pathway tracker actually raises you up a level to actually say, okay, yes, we think we're busy and we think we're running around and we're doing marvelous, which yes, you are. But can we just make that time that we're spending more valuable in getting us to where we want to get to. Okay, so it's raising that awareness, because if we didn't fill this in, this club owner would still be doing everything that they're doing, but still not getting any referrals, because we worked out they just weren't asking for referrals. So then we put a plan of action into place, and when they go into club now, they have the intention of speaking to people about referrals. Because without referrals, you don't get ambassadors, you don't get trainee coaches, and you don't move anyone along to supervisor. So rather than just going in and thinking, I've got to do everything, we now go in with an intention, okay? We work with intention in club, rather than just going in and be busy. Because being busy is great, but we want to have an intention of where we want to go, and we need to know what we need to work on in order to get there, okay? Is this making sense? Yes? Everyone is super, super serious. We then, and me and Grace touched on this, then obviously they go into their club with the intention. They realize how many conversations they could have been having about referrals when they start listening for the, I say be a detective, look for the clues. People will be talking about people that are noticing, but if that's not your intention and you're not switched on, you're not going to be listening for those conversations. So then I say, okay, you go in, and then what we're going to do is we're going to organize a workshop in your club for you and your trainee coaches to really focus on when to ask for referrals. And this could be done on any part of the pathway. As Grace said, it could be around inviting people onto the ambassador call, okay, which is also tracked on the pathway tracker. So again, it's about organizing these little workshops. They're just an hour. There's just the checklist. It's just learning, saying this is what I've worked out based on my filling in my tracker and working with Anne-Marie, that this is what we're struggling with in our club, okay? And that is where it personalizes the training. Now, we heard Claire talking about the magic numbers in club, and what we always focus on in our club is we want to help people build to active world team and global expansion team. So you hear Claire mention that for, if you're doing 3 club members a week consistently over 12 months, we say that you'll reach active world team. That's a gauge. And if it's 5 new club members a month consistently over 12 months, 5 new club members a week over 12 months consistently, you'll get to global expansion team. So we want to be able to use the trackers for our club owners to be able to see that they're building their business that way. So if they want to build to active world team, we can show them the numbers that they can put across the top of the pathway tracker, so they can, again, reflect on, are they building consistently each month to get them to active world team and beyond. So I'm just going to put the magic numbers up here. Okay, I want you to just take a screenshot, because what I want you to be able to do is have them, but your first thing you need to do is use the pathway tracker first, okay? Don't get bogged down with the numbers. You need to know them, but you still need to be able to feel comfortable using it, okay? So when we talk about active world team, new club members a month, you want to be bringing through 20, okay? Ambassadors, the gauge is 4 a month. Trainee coaches is 1 a month, and supervisor is half a person, okay? Now for global expansion team, what we do is we double it. So for global expansion team, your club needs to be bringing in 40 club members a month. 8 ambassadors need to be coming through. 2 of them are going to be trainee coaches, and 1 is going to be supervisor. And these numbers are going to get used over the weekend later on, especially around setting intentions, setting monthly intentions. Because again, we set our intentions, we need to track to make sure that we're working towards them. Okay? So just to finish, what I want you to do, and like I said, you've got access in the Telegram group to this pathway tracker. What I want you to be able to do is to start using it all the way. Like I said, we're having a masterclass at kickoff. Try and get into the habit over the next 90 days until then of using this tracker and putting your numbers in. And it says review with your mentor. But you know what? If you haven't got a mentor that you're working with, choose a sideline. It's just about getting into a conversation, because even filling it out, you'll have an insight, okay? And like yesterday, we had one of our club owners, I won't mention names, but she messaged us and she said, filling out my pathway tracker, and I've had an insight. And I said, share with us. And then we got a little voice note. What I've realized, and this is so common, what I've realized in filling in the pathway tracker with my own information and my trainee coach's information is that I've been so focused on helping them do their wellness evaluations and learn the skills that I've dropped the ball with my own wellness evaluations. And I said to her, that's great. You know, we'll have a chat when we get home, but at least now you're aware of the behavior of what you've done. If you hadn't have filled in this pathway tracker, no matter how much she despises it, but no matter how much you hate doing this, look at the insight you've just had. And now going into the next month of November, she has the intention, she knows, I still have to help these new trainee coaches, but I also have to invest time in frontline and with my own wellness evaluations. She never would have known that. She would have just thought she was super busy, being super productive. And then when the trainee coaches were trained up, she'd have thought, I haven't brought anyone new in. Okay, so that's the importance of using this tracker, okay? So have a go at filling it in. Like I said, you can't break it. Have a go. What did you notice? Have a conversation with someone. What can you focus on for the next month? And, you know, just keep reviewing it. And when you feel comfortable, then you get involved with teaching your team how to use it, okay? Again, you've got that little list that I put together of the information that you need. You just need to have a go and do it, okay? So that is me done. I am going to hand back to my gorgeous husband, Lee Duffy.
So a lot of us come from an employed career where, you know, every now and again you might have a review with your boss, a review with your manager, and that's where normally you might get in trouble or you're looking for a pay rise or something like that. And when we talk about looking at your numbers and filling in trackers and speaking to your upline, some people think they're going to get in trouble. And it literally is a case, as Anne-Marie's just shown you there, is analysing your business. And a lot of times, by filling it out yourself, you can actually answer most of your questions, but then it's just speaking to your mentor and just talking it through. And you know, I think once you understand that and you know the numbers to put in, all I'm going to share with you now is the guys who are working their way through the marketing plan and duplicating clubs in our organisation are the ones that we're speaking to on a regular basis and having a monthly 30-minute call. It's just a 30-minute call, that's all it needs to be. But it's a very, very wise way of spending 30 minutes. So amazing section from Anne-Marie there. Big round of applause.
Let's go! Let's go! Oh! Let's go! Make it hot! Come on!
So again, comparing leadership to management. We're not going to go into a training, but just take a little look at this image and you know, what we want everyone in this room to understand when we come away from here. Claire said it multiple times. You're going to hear it multiple times. 5 new club members a week is leadership. You're leading your team, okay? If you're doing those numbers, your team will follow, okay? And we were just talking on the drive on the way here of, you know, what it takes to become a club owner, junior partner, duplicate clubs. You know, the consistency is so important when you're doing the numbers. You've got to put the hard work in. There are some sacrifices that you're going to have to make. We had a bit of a joke on our huddle calls the other week about taking 2-week holidays 4 times a year. That's not going to help you build your business in this game. There's some sacrifices that you are going to have to make. But I can tell you now, I can promise you now, it's worth it when you are earning more than £8,000 a month. Is that all right? It's worth it. It's all worth it. And as Claire said, you know, we need to build this together. We need to reconnect. We're going to be doing this again at kickoff. And all through the weekend, you know, we're going to get everything that we need to take it forward. So just talking about the next event on the Herbalife calendar. So the next event on the Herbalife calendar is actually Future Pres Team Retreat in Amsterdam. So I'm just going to ask everyone who's going to Amsterdam for Future Pres Team Retreat, can you just stand up for me? Okay, let's see these. These are your leadership. Future President's Team. Wow. Yeah, stand up. Yeah, stand up. Okay, well done, everyone. So, what is the Future Pres Team Retreat you need to do? 1 month of Get to 5, okay? I'm not going to go into all the details of it, but this for us, our first one was in Monaco, and we seen the bigger picture. We thought we were doing well, and then we were in this room, we were sat at the back, even though we were Get Team, and we thought we were getting near to the front, and we were like, oh my God, there's a bigger world here than what we ever imagined at our local events. So again, speak to your uplines, and just make sure that you know and you are aware of what you need to do over the next year, 2 years, to qualify for these events, because they are absolutely unbelievable. Can we just run the video, please, guys, just to show everyone a little taster of what it is? So if you've qualified, make sure you get your ticket, make sure you are committed to go. We will see you all there, all the people who have already committed. Tomorrow, this is our lineup of speakers. Give them a woo! All these guys are going to be sharing their experiences. They're going to be moving you through the pathway, delivering all their trainings, the scripts, all the rest of it. Just make a note of this. Make sure you share this with your teams, just in case they haven't got the detail already. Let's get in early. We're all clubbers. We're used to getting up early. The gym's going to be absolutely rammed in the morning. I'll be going for a run because I've already been to the gym. It's not big enough. So I'll be going for a run on the canal. So yeah, make sure we're all in nice and early as well to get your seats. This room's going to be a lot bigger tomorrow. And then we've got our social now, okay? So we're going to be into the room next door. So we go out, we go round, and then we've got some networking opportunities now for everyone. So I'd just like to thank the committee, which my wife's on, for inviting me to speak and host this section. And I've absolutely loved it. And well, massive thank you to all of our speakers as well. So Claire, Anne-Marie, and Grace as well. And see you all tomorrow, everyone.